So I was told that you guys love PowerPoint, so I've got 130 slides prepared for you. Get ready. So my name's Lionelli. I've been in Ponca for around 20-ish years now. I've lived kind of a little all over the place. My daughter's a freshman, High, so I've owned various businesses, but I know this is kind of an entrepreneur thing, so I'm going to go through a little bit about the business, but I'm going to go through kind of like my story of how I got to where I am today, because they do go together. So when I was about 5 years old, I lived in New Jersey with my dad, and 3 o'clock in the morning one day, my mom wakes me up and tells us we're going on an adventure, and she sneaks us all out our bedroom windows. It was me, my brother, and my sister, and we loaded up in the bed of a pickup truck in the bed and drove all the way to Las Vegas from New Jersey. So we took turns sitting up front. There was an extra seat in the center, so we would sit up front, switching out who was in the bed of the truck. And I remember that we had 2 Tickets to Paradise playing in that truck one day when I was in there, and I was a kid. I was all hyped up for this new adventure, thinking we were going to have this new great life, and it was not. So we get to Vegas, and this person my mom ends up leaving New Jersey with, he's not a good guy, abusive. He was not a good person, and so I went and told the school one day that these things were happening to me, and the school called home, and things got worse. So that was kind of like my first realization that nobody was coming to save me. I needed to protect myself. So from then on, our life was chaos. We lived in and out of homeless shelters, domestic violence shelters, moved back and forth to New Jersey and Vegas multiple times. We had some highs in our lives. Like we might go from, my mom be dating some guy that, he had money, and we were living in this nice neighborhood, going to nice schools, we had nice clothes, and then 6 months later, we're living in a homeless shelter, we're poor, we're getting picked on. One of the times when I lived in a homeless shelter, they gave you backpacks, so you had school supplies. So they gave us these blue backpacks. Everybody in this homeless shelter had the same colored backpacks, so as soon as you walked into the school, everybody knew this is a homeless kid. So you feel very isolated. You're already getting bullied. You already have a rough life, and now people are picking on you because they know. Like, you can't even have a story of like, hey, I'm not homeless. I just look this way. So by the time I was 16, I had lived in 20 different cities. So all over the U.S. We moved constantly. I was a new kid. About every 4 or 5 months, I was a new kid out of school. I probably lived in 40 houses at least by the time I was 16. I lived in hotels. We lived in trailer parks, projects. We lived in a U-Haul for a while. Just a little bit of everywhere. Let's go to the next one. So I was a troublemaker too. My mom was never around. She was working. She was trying to figure things out. So me and my brother, we got to do whatever we want. We caused a lot of trouble. I won't tell you guys what all we did, because I don't know if I can still get in trouble for it, but we caused a lot of trouble. And so the question I get asked all the time is like, what changed? Like, where was that turning point in your life where you decided, like, I don't have to live like this, I can do better? And honestly, I don't know. I really don't. I think probably the closest thing I can think of is my mom pulled me out of school after 2 weeks in 9th grade to homeschool me. We were getting bullied, and the homeschooling never happened. At the time, there was no EPIC, so it was a little different to be homeschooled. The parent actually had to do it, and she was working. So when I was 16, 17, I tried to go get a driver's license, and they told me that you can't have a driver's license because you're not in high school and you've not graduated. So I ended up trying to go enroll myself in high school. They told me I'd have to start back over as a freshman, and I'd graduate when I was like 21, 22, which I thought was kind of weird. And so I went and took the GED test instead. So I went in, took the GED test, got my GED, got my driver's license, and then from there I just kind of was trying to figure it out. I was on my own at this point, living with friends and stuff like that, and just kind of doing my own thing. And I ended up actually enrolling here to go to school for I don't think they have it anymore, but it was a computer technology program where it was like computer repair and computer networking. It was a new program, and I finished that out, and I had a friend that worked at the refinery and was telling me about that, so I ended up going to NOC and enrolling there to get my associate's degree, which I don't know if anybody's not finished high school and went and taken organic chemistry and stuff like that, but I was very behind from everybody else. I didn't have the math, I didn't have any of the English stuff, and I had to take all these chemistry classes. So I worked my butt off to get through there. Somehow or another, I passed with A's and B's. Really don't know how. Go next step. So from there, I got a job at the refinery, and while I was out at the refinery, I was thankful for the job. I was making good money, like more money than I had ever seen in my life, more money than any of my family had ever made. Like, I was so thankful for it, but something still just fell off. And when I would walk into work and I'd ask the guys, like, hey, how you doing today? They'd be like, oh, another day, another dollar. I woke up, survived, one day close to retirement. And all I kept thinking was, like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like, this is not, I don't feel anything from this. The money's good, I like that, but this isn't me. So I started educating myself, reading books, my first business that I opened was actually the Rack Gym over on Brookfield. Where that came to be is the newer YMCA had opened and their hours didn't work with the refinery. So me and a friend were just like, hey, we need to open a gym. Let's do our own thing. And we just bought equipment and opened a gym. I didn't know what I was doing. I got hit by the state several times. Apparently you have to have a spa license. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but I don't know what we were doing in there that was spa license, but we had a spa license. I wasn't charging sales tax, because I didn't know I was supposed to, because it's a membership. So we messed up a lot of stuff, but it was just one of those, let's just do it and see what happens kind of thing. So that was my first business. It was literally, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a mentor. It was just jump and just figure it out. So from there, I owned that for a little bit, and then I was looking for rent houses in Stillwater, and I came across the Marble Slab Creamery was for sale. The real estate agent had it for sale, and I got talking to the guy that owned it, and I was like, man, I could probably do this. So I ended up buying that, and then we ended up buying the Astoria, the bar here in town that's no longer here, a couple other things, and then ultimately what led me to leave the refinery was whenever I bought the Marble Slab in Bricktown down in Oklahoma City. And this is like, going back, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any like formal training on business owning, or I didn't know anybody that I could ask questions to. This was literally just figuring it out, and it was just a drive that I don't want to live like I lived when I was younger. And the other side of it was part of, like, I had an ego, like I wanted to prove to people that you could come from nothing and do these things. So I just, anytime I seen an opportunity or something, I just jumped on it. So, let's go to the next slide. So leading into Combat Syndicate, everything that I've done has always been about, I want to help people. Like, and there was times in my life where I realized, like, what I'm passionate about is helping people and helping people see that there's a new path. And there was things that I did to help that, like the gym, things like that. But like the ice cream store, yes, ice cream's great, everybody loves it, but I didn't feel like I was making an impact. Gave out a lot of free business advice over the years. I'm always there for people that need me. I've done a lot as far as that goes, but it still wasn't a big enough impact. So where Combat Syndicate comes in, I reached out to a friend who's my instructor now. You guys were at the ribbon cutting, seeing him, James Morgan, and I was asking him about training me because I had free time. I had left the refinery, and started training upstairs in the Rack Gym, which I think I had a picture on the previous, but we were upstairs in they have like an attic space up there. We had like one little mat up there. Yeah, that's it right there. That's the beginning of Combat Syndicate, and so we were training up there, and I had a friend reach out to me, and she had told me that her son was getting bullied. There was a video floating around of him walking home from school, and there was a bunch of kids punching him and pushing him, and it was happening all the time, and she was terrified that, she said she was scared to go home because she thought that she was going to find where he had taken his life. So she asked if he could come and train with us, and I was like, yeah, that's fine with me, I don't care. Bring him. So he started training with us, and within a month or so, like this kid, like we started seeing this change in him where he was like, he came in super shy, and you could tell he had zero confidence, and it started changing him. Like he was hanging out in there with us. So there was nights we'd be on those mats till 11, 12 o'clock, just hanging out and talking with this kid. And within a few months, nobody was messing with him anymore. Like he picked this stuff up. He had these people that he could hang out with and spend time with. He had somebody that cared about him, and he was telling us, because honestly, I thought he was going to go beat these kids up. I was like, this is going to be awesome. And he said, they don't even mess with me. He was like, I don't know what it is. He said, they just don't mess with me anymore. And which we later realized was just because he was confident and they could see that in him. So after that night we had that conversation with him, I was sitting down with James, we went to lunch, and I was telling him, I was like, man, this is what I needed when I was a kid. I needed somebody that cared about me, and I needed somebody that was just there. And I was like, look what we did with just this one kid. I was like, Ponca City doesn't have anything like this. And I was like, we can make a huge impact. Like, kids are getting bullied, and even the ones that aren't, like, we get the kids that are getting bullied in there, or that are being the bullies in there, and we change them too. Or maybe they just don't have anybody that gives a crap about them. And so we just thought, like, this could be that time to be what we needed. And he grew up pretty rough too, and he immediately agreed. And this was, I want to say, November-ish, and like by January 1st, Combat Syndicate was open. So again, just like the Rack Gym, I just jumped on it because I thought, well, this is something that I feel like I can actually make an impact. Like this is something I can be passionate about. So what do we do at Combat Syndicate? I say on here, we build fighters, and I don't mean like fighters in the traditional sense, which we do. We have pro fighters, we have amateur fighters, we have people that do jiu-jitsu competitions, but what we do is we teach you to fight another day. Like that's what we are. We don't want people to ever feel weak, and that is our entire goal. We want you to be able to come in there, and whether you're the nerdy kid or whatever else, you don't have any friends or you have zero confidence, we want you to come in there, and we want to change your life, and that's what we do. I can tell you guys story after story of kids that have come in, and something cool that we do too is, like, you know, we may have like this kid over here that's the super popular kid. He's on all the sports teams and everybody loves him, and then we have this kid over here that nobody talks to. He's kind of odd, and we put them together, and they're training together, they become best friends, and now you've got this kid over here that's like, you know, hey, like, people care about me, like, people are cheering me on, I have somebody in my corner. And then you have the kid over here that's already popular, that's seeing like, hey, there's another world outside of mine, and it makes them a better person too, because they start recognizing and they start sticking up for these kids at school that are getting picked on. Something my daughter actually jokes about is, like, if you were wearing our shirt, like, people know not to mess with you because they go to Combat Syndicate, don't mess with them. But we have a very tight community. These kids take care of each other, and we preach that to them. Like, when we are talking to the kids, we let them know, like, this is your family. Like, if you see anybody in here getting picked on, like, you say something. And on top of that, like, those kids, like, some of them, they come home from homes that people don't care about them. They don't care about their achievements, anything they're doing, and they have this whole group of people in there that's cheering them on. Like, they get a belt or a stripe, and everybody's clapping. So it makes them feel good. So I kind of skipped what all we teach there, but we teach jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, MMA, Muay Thai, and then we do just general self-defense. So we teach a little bit of everything. The 24/7 gym that we just opened, so this actually opened up a year ago. This was a couple reasons. One, it was because I had a huge space, but also I was looking for another way to help pay for the kids' classes downstairs. So that's a big thing with us, is like, we're not a nonprofit. There's not a lot of money in Ponca City. What we do is kind of expensive. We keep it on the cheaper end, but everything costs money, paying instructors, bills, all that stuff. So, and there's a lot of parents that can't afford classes. So I eat a lot of memberships, or I make up fake prices to people that I think that maybe need it. And this here was an opportunity for me to bring in more income to cover some of those things. So the gym itself is all state-of-the-art equipment. There's one other gym in Oklahoma that has equipment as good as we do. The Arsenal Strength stuff. Everything in there is all brand new. Huge facility. I know some of you got to see it the other day. And the building's very deceiving. When you go upstairs, it is massive. But this has been an awesome addition for us because it's brought in a lot more people. And then something else what we've done is, with the parents, we discount their membership to the gym if they have their kids in class. Because another issue we were seeing is the parents weren't bringing the kids to class. Even if we gave them a free membership, they wouldn't show up to class. But now, if the parents can work out, they'll drop their kids off and then they'll go upstairs and work out. So 1 year ago, actually yesterday or the day before, I posted this. So we had hit 150 members, which was insane. We've been open for 5 years total, a little over 5 years, and then, like I said, the gym's been open over a year. And we'd always sit around like 50, 60 members or something, and here we hit 150 members. And then I checked today before coming up here, and we're pretty close to 300 members now. So we've almost doubled our membership here in a year. So we're pretty proud of it. Like, clearly people are starting to pay attention to what we're doing, and it is working. These are just kind of some of our people that have won medals and stuff. Whoever's in the ribbon cutting, I forgot to talk about it, but I'm sure you guys seen the massive line of medals we had up there. And those medals that were in there, those are just some of the kids' medals and some of the adults. Like, a lot of the parents, they have theirs at home hanging up, and I don't even know how many medals we've won. It's been hundreds, literally. And then we also have Francisco just won a bodybuilding competition in Vegas, so that's our first one that won that. So, like I said, we do the fights. We travel all over. We go Kansas, all over Oklahoma, Texas, and we do the MMA fights. We do kickboxing. We do jiu-jitsu. We do a little bit of everything. So, how can you guys help? I know that's something that's always asked. It's really simple. If you guys can refer a friend, share our story, follow, support us online, any of those things, that's great. If you guys want to come try a free class, you can also do that. But other than that, that's all we need. We just need the word spread, and we do the rest. So that's all we need from you guys. It's a simple like. Everybody says it all the time, but it is a big deal. It's just liking a post. I spend a lot of time liking posts that sometimes I don't even read them. I'm just like, I just know the person, and I'm just like, support. So we do a lot for the community. I guess you guys probably see me at everything anyways, but we do a lot of behind the scenes stuff too. We do a lot with the schools. Last year we were up at the high school at 10 o'clock at night teaching the girls basketball self-defense class during their lock-in thing. So we did like 4-H kids and at the OSU extension and home health, real estate. We do a lot of stuff like that. Typically we do it for free. If it's something that's like drawn out where they're like some of the tribes and stuff, they'll do like 6-week programs. We'll charge for those pretty minimally. But like if it's schools and stuff like that, if you guys ever know anybody or want us to come in and teach little classes, we'll do that. Just talk to Winter Road Tally. I think we're going to have them come in and do a class. And we usually don't charge for that stuff. It's kind of our give back to the community. It's fun for us, and teach you guys something fun. Yeah. Oh, I only did 11 slides. I thought I did 230. So I appreciate you guys all coming. If y'all have any questions, I was supposed to leave space for questions, which I think I did. And y'all can ask about business, funding, how we got stuff, my childhood, whatever you want. I don't care. I'm an open book. Ask questions.
Well, yeah,
Pickleball people are rude. And it's too windy for chain link fences.
You said you read a lot of books. What was I'd say the number one book you think everyone should read?
So, I don't agree with all the teachings in it, but the first book I read that actually opened my eyes to, like, there was a different world out there was the cliche Rich Dad Poor Dad. So that book, I read it and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So some of the teachings in there I don't agree with now that I've progressed in life, but it is a very eye-opening book on how most people live their lives and how you can. What's up, Heather?
So you said that when you began, you did things like fast and wrong a lot because you didn't have the knowledge. So what would be something that you would suggest people do if they want to get into business?
Fast and wrong. every single person you talk to, I would say that is in business, that is doing well, that every one of them has just jumped in. You talk to a lot of business owners, and the vast majority of them some of y'all are business owners in here. I think y'all could agree. Like you do it, and you screw up along the way, and you just keep on pushing.
Resources like Pioneer Tech Biz.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and that's true. I read a lot. This wasn't here when I started, so I read a lot of books. I looked a lot of stuff up. But now, honestly, with Chat GPT and stuff, like you have so much resources out there that you can ask questions, but you're still going to mess up. You're going to make the wrong decisions. You're going to do things on the fly, and you're going to mess up. And it is literally just the not being afraid to do it. Most of what holds people back is fear. And once you get past that, and I know that's cliche, everybody says it, but it's true. Like, if you really think about it, most of the things you don't do in your life is because of fear, whether it's fear of failure or fear that somebody's going to judge you or you're going to mess it up or you're going to do it, whatever. It's always based on fear. Anybody else? All right, well, thank you. No, we're done, Kevin.
And let's get away with that. So what would be the one thing you would change?
Nothing. I get asked this a lot, especially about my childhood. And so I didn't talk about it, but I was a straight A student. Every school I was ever at, I got A's. So I guess I'm kind of smart. I don't really know. But so there were times that I thought oh, well, maybe I could have done this if I'd had a normal, stable life. Like what could I have done? When I was in second grade, they were trying to skip me up to third grade. And I'm like, well, what if they'd have done that? What if I'd have stayed in school? And for me, I would probably want to relive the same exact life because I knew where it led to today. I feel like I've inspired and helped a lot of people because of it. And then on top of it, a lot of what I'm doing now is based on that childhood and the experiences and the reason that I'm able to connect with everybody and so many different kinds of people is because I lived so many lives. I lived, poor, and I've lived somewhat wealthy, and I've been everywhere. So it's kind of made it to where I feel like I can help a lot more people now because I understand people and I can connect with them on a level that probably most people can't unless they've lived a screwed up life, to be honest. Anybody else?